Hey everybody, it's Tara Bryan, and you are listening to the Course Building Secrets podcast. Whether you're a coach or a CEO, the success of your team and clients is based on your ability to deliver a consistent experience and guide them on the fastest path to results. This podcast will give you practical, real-life tips that you can use today to build your online experiences that get results and create raving fans. Why? So you can monetize your expertise and serve more people without adding more time or team to your business. If you're looking to uncover your $1 million framework, package it, and use it to scale, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about results. One of the things I work on so often with our clients is how to set tangible and measurable results. Because here's the reality is that your ideal customer has a problem they're trying to solve and they're looking to achieve a particular result, right? Whatever that is. And so you come in as the solution, as the best path for somebody to go from that problem to the solution. But if you don't set a specific result or solution that somebody's trying to get to as they solve their problem, then they're not going to know that you have the best solution for them. How do we create and clearly articulate in terms of not only being able to deliver on your promise, but also to articulate your messaging so your ideal customers are attracted to you? Why is it important to do this? Clarity for your customers. You want them to know exactly what they're going to walk away with. It's not like, well, you're going to understand or know this new thing. Like, that's not measurable, right? That's not tangible. That's not something that somebody can say, oh, well, this is what I'm going to get when I am involved in your solution. And so it needs to be clear. It needs to be tangible. It needs to be something I always talk about, like, make it into something that's packageable, make it into something that's physical so that they can actually see it. If they can see it, if it's something that they can measure, then that is a slam dunk in terms of you being potentially the person who can help them get to that outcome. It also lets them sort of identify and imagine what their future will look like, and it helps them to build trust and hope that this is something that will work for them. So again, it's a difference between, like, I can help you grow your business and I can help you double your monthly revenue in 90 days by streamlining your client onboarding process, right? So listen to the difference. One is just sort of a vague promise, and the second is very specific in terms of what the solution is that they're looking for. It helps to build trust. When you can confidently articulate the result your clients can expect, you build trust, you build confidence, you build clarity, you build that ability, like, oh, this person knows exactly what I need, so therefore I trust that they can help me get there because they have that clear focus in terms of what needs to happen. The third thing it's going to do is it's going to differentiate you in the market, right? So your goal always, when you're trying to attract your customers, is to have them come to you and say, I have confidence and trust that you are going to help me. It's a completely different conversation when you are on the phone with a prospect, when they're like, yeah, I totally trust that you know how to do this because you are clearly articulating what it is I'm trying to get to, what the result is that I want, versus, well, how can you help me? Like, I'm not real sure that you know or have the solution that will work for me, because they're not hearing that level of confidence in you, nor do they see a clear roadmap. So those are the three kind of big factors that play into you needing to articulate that result. Now, one of the biggest sort of reasons why people don't do this is because you don't want to commit to one outcome, right? Sometimes you feel like it's hard to measure, or it's hard to, you don't want to be held accountable to that one specific result. However, that is what people want. And so your goal will be, how do you create a solution that fast tracks that person's journey from the problem to the result? That's how you can guarantee success, not only articulating the result, but getting them that fast path there. So people struggle with defining this clear and measurable result for a couple different reasons. One is that lack of specificity. People are often focused on broad goals like grow my business or improve customer retention or understand how to do this thing, without drilling down exactly into what it is in concrete terms. My advice for you, if this is how you have been describing the result that you get for people, is to see if you can bring the target closer. It may just be like, grow your business is really broad. It's just a really you could grow your business in a million different ways. Bring the problem and the result closer, so you can actually define a specific outcome that growing the business is for that particular person. That second thing is fear of commitment, right? I talked a little bit about that, but it's like, it feels like it could be a big commitment to say, this is the result, right? Increase revenue by 20%, get, 100 more people into your program in 90 days, whatever it is. It feels like if you are putting that out there, that you have to deliver, and you should be able to deliver, number one. But number two is that you feel like you're being held accountable. And if people don't achieve it, then you're failing, that you're the one who's not helping them. And that's not the case. When you put the stake in the ground, then people can reach that stake, versus worrying about the people who aren't participating, right? Like, that's a different issue. The third thing is, like, if you're uncertain about what the solution is that your client is looking for to solve the problem, then you just need to do a little bit more market research. You need to work with a couple of more customers, maybe one-on-one or in a different capacity, until you can clearly articulate what that specific result is. But once you set up your framework, you're like, here's the problem, here's the result, and then here's the path that I take people to go from point A to point B. Until you have that level of confidence and clarity, you may need to keep, kind of working through, how you do things with various customers before you can set that result. And that's totally fine. The goal that you have then is to get to that measurable result. Number 4 is overcomplicating the process. Some business owners and service providers feel the solutions they offer are complex or multifaceted, and so it makes it harder to narrow down exactly what the results are, what the transformation is that you can give to your client. And I'm going to tell you, I fought this for years, but the clearer and more specific you can get around the result will really help you simplify your business so that you can scale it. If you want to have a complex business, if you want to overcomplicate your business, you certainly can, but it's going to hinder your growth. So you just need to make that decision, right? The next one is perfectionism or overthinking. Anyone have this problem? Yeah, most people do, right? Is that it has to be perfect before we can declare that it is the result that we're helping people get. And again, when you are in a position of creating your productized service and your business, you have to put a stake in the ground. So go back and test with more customers and clients if you need to, but at some point you need to just declare, like, here's the measurable result, here's how the framework is getting them there, and keep going forward. You're going to have version 1.0, you're going to have version 2.0, you're going to have version 3.0. Your business and your expertise and the various things that are going to happen are going to evolve over time, but you just have to put a stake in the ground and start somewhere. So come up with what is measurable that you know right now around the problem and the result and the path that you can take them on, and start there, and just know that it's going to evolve over time. And that's totally fine. Like, your customers will keep evolving with you. The next challenge that people have is like lack of confidence in the offer. Sometimes you're not necessarily sure if your offer is right, or if you can actually get them to a specific outcome. And so again, that's when I would say beta test it with more people, but really step into being confident and clear about what you offer and your expertise. I was just on the phone with a prospect the other day, and she was sort of in that space of not feeling confident in what she was offering because she was listening to everyone else. And so she was making decisions based on what she was hearing them say, not from her own expertise and from her own ability to believe that she has the fastest path for people to get to that result. And once she realized that, then she was like, well, yeah, of course I can get people to this result, and here's the result that people want. And she was able to step back into her role as the expert and get back to that level of confidence. So if that's you, you may just need to get back to your level of confidence and stop listening to everybody else as they're kind of sending you off on their path. Because remember, you have the unique ability to help someone based on your expertise, which is going to be different than someone else. So they may have a different result to the problem and a different path, and that's totally fine. You're going to attract the people who want to solve the problem with the result that you're giving them and the path that you're helping them go down. So just remain confident in what you're doing, and then back it up with, with doing some beta testing with actual live humans and all of the other things that you need to do to just make sure that you stay in that place of confidence. And then the last thing I think that people struggle with is focusing on the process or the information that you want to convey or teach, and not on the outcome. And that's where the work that I'm doing is really helping people find their framework so that it keeps you focused on both, right? So you're identifying a clear problem, you have that specific outcome that you're trying to help people get to, and then the path that you're helping them go down to take the fastest journey to get from point A to point B. A lot of times people focus on all of the things that go inside of the path and get distracted from that, right? All the videos or all the lessons or all the things and all of this and this, and it grows and grows and grows. And then you've lost sight of the fact that your whole purpose is to get somebody from point A to point B. And again, like if you have no point B, then how does somebody know that that they are successful? How do they know that they've solved that problem? If you're just continuing to give them the minutia in the middle, then you haven't gotten them to that result. So those are the challenges that a lot of people run into. If you find that one or more of those are maybe the things that are challenges for you, I encourage you to just take a moment and get back to the simplicity of somebody comes to you because they have a problem and they're looking for a result. Your solution is the bridge from that problem to the result. And it's just like you wouldn't put something out in the market that didn't solve any problem, right? Like nobody would buy it if it wasn't actually there for a purpose. It's the very same thing with the result. Is you need to paint that picture for them as to what it is that is going to happen once they have solved that problem, right? Sales will increase, quantity increase, whatever the result is. And then again, your job is just to come up with the fastest path from point A to point B, and that is it. Like that is how simple this game can be. And so again, if those challenges are a struggle for you, just sit down and refocus on the 2-book of how you're helping your customers, and that will help to set you free. Okay, so let's talk just about a couple of tactics to help you get kind of past this point. The first thing is, like I said, be super clear on the core problem that you solve. If you're trying to solve 35 problems, then of course your delivery is going to be a little confusing and you're not going to have one result or outcome. So focus on the core problem. Yes, you may solve all sorts of problems for people, but there's one core problem that is running throughout the entire thing to get to that result. So pick the core problem. If you can't do that, then just pick one of them, and that's where you're going to focus. But again, do you want a complex business or do you want a simple business that allows you to grow and scale without you, burning out and trying to do all of the things. If that's the case, you need a core problem. So you need to focus on the power of one, which we talk a lot about in the mentorship program and all of the different things that we help our clients with. Is it's all about focus. Focus is the new currency. So we need to focus on one problem, one result, and one path. So start there, redefine that core problem. If you're finding that it's tricky to come up with a result, really take a moment and put a stake in the ground in terms of what is that measurable result. Like, use a percentage, use some detail so that they can see that result, make it tangible, make it measurable, and they know when they've gotten there. So often when I'm working with especially our corporate clients, so what's the result that you want from having your employees take this training? And they're like, well, I don't really know, but I'll know it when I see it. And that's a really scary place to be, is because you don't actually know what result you want. Then how on earth can you help somebody get there, right? Like, if you're a manager and you have an employee and you're like, hey, dude, I want you to get better at this. They're like, well, what does that mean? Like, what does better mean? Does better mean that I do it more efficiently? Does it mean I do it without any errors? Does it mean I increase my production by 20%? Does it, like, what is specifically, does it mean? And in my opinion, as their manager, you have to set that expectation and put a stake in the ground and say, listen, this is what we expect, right? If you're a business owner and you are working with your customers, would you expect them to buy something from you if you were like, well, I mean, it's probably going to make you better? No, right? Like, you wouldn't be surprised if your customers are like, oh, well, what does that mean? Like, no, I'm going to go to this other person who's telling me exactly what that tangible outcome is. Same thing. So really focus on what you can do to make it measurable. Now, I agree, if you are out there and you're like, well, what I am teaching is not measurable, there are some things that are harder to measure than others. But the bottom line is, like, you have to measure it. So pick a measurement that somebody can see and touch and actually be able to know when they've gotten there. Understanding and knowledge is not an outcome. That is an input that helps you do something, but it's not ultimately going to get you a change in behavior, in habits, in results, in whatever else, right? And so you have to figure out what that measurable piece is. Okay, use examples and case studies and different things to illustrate what it looks like when somebody has that result that you are helping them get, right? So weight loss is a great example, right? If your signature program is all about helping somebody lose 20 pounds, then say you're going to lose 20 pounds and then put some before and afters in front of them so they can see what that looks like. And then make sure that your messaging is really clear around that result. It should be results driven messaging, which is very, very clear and stated tangibly in all of your materials. So what you want to do is set those expectations, attract the right people, and really give them that measurable piece that they can work with. So, all right, so those are a couple of different tactics to help you through this process. But my advice for you is to just move the target as close as you can until you get to a tangible result. If you need help with this, let us know. And in the show notes, you'll find some different resources to help you through this process. But if you are struggling with this, you are not alone. This is something that a lot of people have trouble with, especially because of those challenges that I outlined earlier. So pick one of those that you're struggling with and knock it out of the park so you can set some measurable results and then work to get your customers to those results. All right, there you go.
Hey everybody, are you a business owner ready to streamline and scale your business? Imagine solving the biggest business challenges with clarity, a strategy, and a clear plan. Hey, I'm Tara Bryan, and I want to invite you to take the first step towards transforming your business with a free 30-minute discovery call. This call is an opportunity to discuss your goals, identify key challenges, and learn how my mentorship program can help you achieve the success you're aiming for. In just a half hour, we'll explore how you can scale your business by enhancing your authority strategy, engagement strategy, and retention strategy. You'll get personalized advice and a clear path forward. Ready to take the first step? Click on the link below that's in the show notes to book your free discovery call now. I hope to talk to you soon.